the first system of equations we're going to take a look at, we can notice that we have, right off the bat, we have an x minus 2y is equal to 0. Whenever you have a variable by itself, you want to start to think substitution. So by rewriting the x minus 2y equals 0, I can add 2y to both sides, and I get that x is equal to 2y. From here, I want to take my x, and wherever I see an x in my second equation, which is right here, instead of writing x, I'm now going to substitute in a 2y. Substitution is a great method for this one especially as well because it is a linear and a quadratic equation. So after I make my substitution, I'm going to get 3 times 2y minus y squared is equal to 0. So I get 6y minus y squared is equal to 0. To solve for y, there's a GCF of y, so I get y times 6 minus y is equal to 0. Set each term equal to 0, so y is equal to 0, and 6 minus y equals 0. Subtract 6 from both sides and negate with the negative y, so I get that y is equal to positive 6. Because I have two y values, I now must substitute in and solve for two x values. From here, it does not matter which equation you substitute it into. I'm, however, going to choose my first equation only because it's an easier equation to solve. So for this one, I have x minus 2y is equal to 0. To substitute in my first x value, or my first y value, get 0. So I get x minus 2 times 0 is equal to 0. So I get that x is equal to 0. To find my second x value, I'm plugging in again to the same equation. X minus 2y is equal to 0. So I'm going to substitute in a 6. So I get x minus 2 times 6 is equal to 0. X minus 12 equals 0, so x is equal to 12. Giving me my two ordered pairs or solutions here are going to be 0, 0, and 12, 6 for both of my solutions. So steps again to go through. You're going to choose to solve for one of the equations for one of the variables. So we picked our first equation to solve for, and we solved for our x value. Once you've solved for that x value, you're going to substitute in to the second equation, which we did here with this part. Our third step was once we solved for our value of y in this case, we then substituted our y values into our first equation or either equation to solve for our x values. You can always go back and check your answers with the original equations, never with a modified equation, but check with the original equations to make sure that it does work out. You would say 0 minus 0 equals 0, that checks out, and 0 minus 2 times 6 equals 0, and it checks. You want to check with both equations for these.